except Mahaprabhu or Lord Krishna. And how he was so much of merciful. So when he was traveling to South India, so he saw one washerman. He was washing his clothes, and Mahaprabhu went to him and he said, "Please chant the name of Hari." Then the washerman said, "I have so many clothes to wash. So who will wash the clothes?" Then Mahaprabhu said, "Let me wash all the clothes." We can see the position of Mahaprabhu, showing uh, Bhagavan himself. So he is washing the cloth. Why? So to give the love of Godhead to someone who is not qualified. Similarly, Jagai Madhai, you can, how Jagai Madhai and Nityananda Prabhu, they give their mercy. And when Mahaprabhu embraced Jagai and Madhai, his body became black because they had so much of sinful reactions, sinful, they have done so much of sinful activities. So by embracing Mahaprabhu's body became black. And after they blessed Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they blessed Jagai and Madhai. How Jagai Madhai's behavior changed? Jagai Madhai used to stay near the Ganges, the Ghat. They used to wash the Ghat. Why? Because Vaishnavas will come. They will take bath. Mm. And they were not walking on that path. They were cleaning by crawling. So they were not walking also because Vaishnavas are walking on that path because their dust is there. Vaishnavas Padadhuli is there. This Padadhuli, Vaishnavas Padadhuli is very important. ভক্ত পাদ ধুলি আউ ভক্ত পাদ জল ভক্ত ভুক্ত আবেগ তিনি মহাবল ভক্ত পাদ ধুলি and pada jala and bhakta bhukta abeg means remnants of the food taken by the devotee. So these three, the dust from the lotus feet and the water which was the lotus feet, and also what are the remnants of the prasad the devotee takes, these three have mahabal, so much of potency is there. If some, we should not, we should take it to get the mercy. And padadhuli raja, for that I just remembered, um, there was a Ras Khan, we might be knowing, he was a great devotee. He came from Agra, he fell in love with a girl from Vrindavan. And he was searching of that girl in the street, and for a few days he searched and he could not find. Then he was crying like anything. Mm. Then one devotee, Sadhu, came. When he saw this man is crying, then Sadhu understood, because someone is crying in Vrindavan means he is crying for Krishna. So then Sadhu told, so your desire will be your Krishna bhakti, and Krishna will give you mercy very soon. So the Sadhu has given the words. So that means Lord Krishna will fulfill. Like Narad Muni, he gave the words to the sons of Kuber that in Dwapar Krishna will come and he will deliver you. So Lord has nothing to do with, when Jasodamai tied the rope, Lord has nothing to do with that, because my devotee has told this. That is why Krishna, he went to the tree, near the trees, and uprooted these trees. So because anything the devotee desire, pure devotee desires, the Lord fulfills. Similarly, in Prabhupada's story also, in Prabhupada, his disciple Shamsundar Prabhu, when he came to Prabhupada, told Prabhupada, I I may go to jail. I will go to jail. Already, the order has come for. I will go to jail for 5 years. Then Prabhupada said, "Okay." Lord Krishna was also taken birth in jail, so don't worry. No, no, Prabhu, Prabhupada. Actually, I was dealing with the drugs, so that is why they have given punishment for 5 years jail. Then Prabhupada told, I was also dealing with the drugs in Prayag pharmacy. No, 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 no. Then Prabhupada became serious. Prabhupada told, don't worry. So even if you go to jail, you chant the name of Krishna, and he will deliver you soon. Because Prabhupada has told he will be free soon, and after 6 months, Shyamsundar Prabhu became free from the jail. So still nobody knows how it happened, because the devotee, a pure devotee, has desired, so Lord has to fulfill that by any means. So similarly, when Mahaprabhu went to Pandharpur and he gave people, we understood he initiated Sant Tukaram also. And Sant Tukaram was such a pure devotee. He was always chanting Ram Krishna Hari, Ram Krishna Hari, Ram Krishna Hari. And when he was chanting, so all the surrounding were surcharged with the Ram Krishna Hari, Ram Krishna Hari, Ram Krishna Hari. And when he used to go anywhere, like Abadut, and his wife could not find him, so he was putting her ear on the ground, and to know where Sant Tukaram has gone. By putting her ear to the ground, she could hear Ram Krishna Hari, Ram Krishna Hari, Ram Krishna Hari, like that. So the pure devotee, how they change the atmosphere. So, and he has composed very beautiful poems, bhajans. But at that time, Pandits, they told, you don't deserve to write these bhajans. So throw it to the river, throw into the river. And Sant Tukaram threw into the river. And the lords, like lords and lords paraphernalia, they are having, they are equal. Like lords and lords name, they are non-different. Similarly, lords and lords paraphernalia, like lord's crown, lord's dress, they are just like lord. So similarly, the devotee has written something out of love, so it has also the lord's potency in it. So the river could not keep it, and the river sorry the river make it out, huh? So, and these beautiful poems we could understand. Just 1 minute. So I was reading from the slokas from the TV, so it has gone away. Just I am connecting. 1 minute, please.
Prabhuji, shall I do this screen share, Prabhuji?
No, Mataji, just 1 second. It will be
No
very
problem.
soon.
No problem.
So we'll go to the next verse. Okay, Mataji, you can remove this screen. Text 22. अदय पिह देख चैतन्य नाम लय कृष्ण प्रेम पुलक अश्रु विहाइल से हाय अदय पिह देख चैतन्य नाम लय कृष्ण प्रेम पुलक अश्रु विहाइल से हाय. Your translation: whether he is offensive or inoffensive, anyone who even now chants Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand is immediately overwhelmed with ecstasy and tears fill his eyes. So So whether he is offensive or inoffensive, whoever chants the name of Gauranitai, he immediately overwhelmed with ecstasy. So in the purport, it is mentioned how after Mahaprabhu's disappearance, Nityananda Prabhu used to preach. After Nityananda Prabhu's disappearance, Janhvi Mata, his wife, used to preach. And when Mataji also disappeared, then after some time, the Mahaprabhu's actual philosophy they forgot, and they become Sahajiyas. They were not following any regulatory principles. They were not reading any scriptures. They were always doing nasty things. So then our Saptams Goswami Bhakti Vinod Dev came, and he established the real the Vaishnav etiquette and the principles. Even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he built 64 Gaudiya Mathas, in Calcutta Gaudiya Mathas, he saw sometimes the two devotees fought with each other for getting a room. Then he was very upset. And when he met Prabhupada, he told, if you get some money, so you print the books and distribute to the others. So this is the Prabhupada's mood. So Prabhupada's mood is we should distribute as many books of his, what he has written. So if someone is doing, that means he's a great devotee. Like we have Rasraj Prabhu, and what a pure devotee he is, and how he distributes the books. So we are really inspired. So and and Prabhupada's books are transcendental, So he is told, I have not written. This is Lord Krishna himself is a purport. Okay. So the Sahajiyas, they don't follow the rules and regulations. No Vaishnava philosophy. But still they shed tears. Why? Because when they chant the Nitai Gaur, Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name, they shed the tears. And in the purport, Prabhupada is telling, though they shed tears, that also attracts many followers. And in the course of time, when they come in contact with a pure devotee, and they will become a pure devotee also. Okay, so that is why the Nityananda Prabhu's name and Mahaprabhu's name has so much of potency. So next verse 23. Nityananda Bali Tehaya Krishna Prema Udaya Aulyaya Sakala Anga Asru Ganga Vaya Nityananda Bali Tehaya Krishna Prema Udaya Aulyaya Sakala Anga Asru Ganga Vaya. Translation. Simply by talking of Nityananda Prabhu, one awakens his love for Krishna. Thus, all his bodily limbs are agitated by ecstasy, and tears flow from his eyes like the water of the Ganges. So, by just chanting the Nityananda Prabhu's name, it awakens the love for Krishna, then the tears flow down from one's eyes. So why this ecstasy manifests when we chant Nityananda Prabhu's name? Generally we are chanting, but I am not able to shed the tears because so many anarthas are there. What are these anarthas? The Sada Ripu, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Madha, Moha, Matsarya. And this is remaining in my heart since time immemorial. So, like it has become like a rock. In the rock, if someone uh, plants a seed or sow a seed, the plants does not come. That is why the Bhakti Lata is not coming. But when we chant the Nityananda Prabhu's name, because the Nityananda Prabhu, what weapon he takes, he carries? He carries the plow. So with the plow, he make the rocks fertile. and when it becomes fertile, then the bhakti lata it comes out, and then we said out, we become ecstatic, and said the tears comes from our eyes. Similarly, Lord Nityananda, he is none other than Balaram, so he is also having gada also, mess. Why he is keeping the mess? Because when we become proud, so he will he will strike on it. So like he did for to the Brahmaharshan. So whatever we have achieved, so little bit devotional service, so we should not be puffed up. We should give to our Siksha Gurus and Diksha Gurus. And this Nityananda Prabhu, so he was doing Tirtha pilgrimage in different places. He was not coming to Nadia. He was waiting when Mahaprabhu will do the Atma Prakash. When Mahaprabhu did the Atma Prakash, and he said he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also he said who is Shiva's, um, who is Advaita Acharya. So then the Nityananda Prabhu, he rushed towards Nadia. So when he came to Nadia, he stayed in the Nandanacharya's house. So when he came to, he was coming to Nandanacharya house on previous day, Mahaprabhu is seeing a dream. In the dream, some Mahaprabhu's great personality, he is coming in a big chariot. So he could understand that Nityananda Prabhu, showing Balaram, he is coming. So next day, he sent Srivas Thakur and Aditya Acharya uh, to search this great personality. And they are searching everywhere in the Nadia, but they are not able to find. You see, Swayam Narad and Mahavishnu, they are going to search Nityananda Prabhu, still they are not able to locate. We can understand from this what is the position of Nityananda Prabhu. So then Mahaprabhu took Srivas Pandit and Aditya Acharya with him, and then he went straight to the Nandana Acharya's house. Then when they met with each other, Mahaprabhu is looking into Nityananda Prabhu looking into Mahaprabhu, and this how the Mahaprabhu Abes Bhav. So he got the Abes Bhav of Nityananda Prabhu. Then he told Srivas Pandit to recite one sloka from Bhagavatam. Once he recited that verse, the Nityananda Prabhu, he could not control himself. He became just like Nityananda Prabhu, like a premamatta. He always becomes made with love of Godhead. So he becomes like made. He crawls on the ground, shouted. So like that. So then they could understand the position of the great personality. Then Mahaprabhu brought him to Srivas Pandit's house, and then Srivas Pandit recited so Mahaprabhu, hmm, he became so much of by looking. He was looking into Nityananda Prabhu with so much of abase. He got he became Nityananda Prabhu by sometimes the Lord, he takes the bhava for the devotee and he becomes a devotee like that with such abase. So he become Nityananda Prabhu. Then he is shouting, bring me hull, bring me plow, bring me hull, bring me so uh, then Nityananda Prabhu, he is giving his hull. At that time Nityananda Prabhu was not carrying that hull, but he was giving the hull to Mahaprabhu, and this no very few they could see it. So this is the Nityananda Prabhu's position. Hmm. And Nityananda Prabhu always used to say, Bhaja Gauranga, Laha Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga Namre Je Jana Gauranga Bhaje Se Hava Amar Pranare Bhaja Gauranga Laha Gauranga Kaha Gauranga Namre Je Jana Gauranga Bhaje Se Hava Amar Pranare Bhaja Gauranga Laha Gauranga Kaha Gauranga Namare. So, without Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, we cannot get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And without mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we cannot get the mercy of we cannot get the mercy of Radha and Krishna, or we cannot get the Radha and Krishna. Nitaira Karuna Habe Braje Radha Krishna Pave. And Nityananda Prabhu is so merciful. So still, though Mahaprabhu is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Adhuta Karunya, Adhuta Udarya, Adhuta Udarya, still he does not give the love of Godhead to some personality, some people. Like one who is so much attached with material things, like King Pratap Rudradev, he was not giving. So, and who is offensive also, he is offensive to the devotee, he also does not give the prem. But Nityananda Prabhu, even he is more udarya, more badanya than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is why Mada Khaya Prema Deya Emon Prabhu Kothay Ache. Mada Khaya, Madhai has hit him, Nityananda Prabhu. The blood was oozing from his body. Still, he is holding the feet of Madhai. Please chant the name of Hari. Hmm. So, Mada Khaya Prema Deya Emon Prabhu Kothay Ache. So, like this type of Prabhu, who is there in this world, in this whole universe, in the whole manifestation? So, there is no one like Nityananda Prabhu. And without Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, we cannot get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And without Mahaprabhu's mercy, we cannot go to Braj. Then next verse 24. কৃষ্ণ নাম করে অপরাধের বিচার কৃষ্ণ বলিলে অপরাধীর না হে বিকার কৃষ্ণ নাম করে অপরাধের বিচার কৃষ্ণ বলিলে অপরাধীর না হে বিকার. So there are offenses to be considered while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Therefore, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one does not become ecstatic. So it is mentioned here. So there are offenses to be considered while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So by simply, if someone chants Hare Krishna mantra, so one does not become ecstatic. So we know the power of the name. So the first offense is, but still there are 10 offenses. And what are the 10 offenses? The first offense is to blaspheme any devotee who is totally engaged in distributing the holy name of the Lord. This is the first offense. And we understand from the Chaitanya Charitamrta, our Namachari Haridas Thakur, when he went to Hiranya Majumdar's house, Raghunath Das Goswami's father's house, there he met one tax collector named Gopal Chakravarti. And Haridas Thakur was telling, if one has not come to the stage of pure chanting, but he has come to the stage of Namabhasa, still he will get the liberation. Then Gopal Chakravarti laughed at him, he criticized him. Though Mahaprabhu, Hiranya Majumdar and others, they stopped it, but he, Gopal Chakravarti, he by offending, he went away. And after some days, his body, he become the leprosy. He became a leprosy patient. That is called Galit Kosta means in the leprosy also, which is the last stage, your body parts will come fall down. It will detach from your body. That is Galit Kosta. So, so he suffered with that. So that is why we should be very careful. So one who has given his life and time in spreading the holy name of the Lord, we should not criticize him. This is the first offense. And the second offense is we should not think Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, they are equal with Krishna, Vishnu, or they are independent. So that is the second offense. So Shivaya Sri Vishnura iha guna nama di sakalam diha bhinnam pasyat sa khalu hari namoita kara. So this is the second offense. And third offense, this is Guru Avagya. So whatever spiritual master has instructed, we do not follow. So we know there are 10 offenses, and among all, this is the most offensive. So if we do not follow the Guru's instruction to do the 16 round and follow the regulative principles, if we do not follow and any special instruction if Guru has given, but if we do not follow, that is the greatest offense. So we'll lose the test of the Namaruchi. And the fourth offense is to deride the scripture. So the scriptures, Lord Krishna has his Saktaves avatar, Vyasadeva has written. So if you do not follow the scriptures, that is also the fourth offense. Then fifth offense is Arthavada. Arthavada means to give the different meanings to Hare Krishna. So like some people in Odisha and West Bengal, they say Hare Krishna means Hare Krishna. You become like Krishna, you become like Ram. So that is the meaning of Hare Krishna mantra. No, we know the Hare is the internal potency of the Lord, and Krishna is all attractive and supreme personality of Godhead. So if we made the different meaning to the Mahamantra, then that is also offense. Then we think sixth offense, we Harinama Kalpanam. So we think this name is imaginary. That is the offense also. And seventh offense is to do sinful activity by power of name. We know by chanting the name, our all sinful sin will go away by thinking that, okay, I will chant more and more. So that is also very offensive. That is seventh offense. That is why Nama balad yasya hi papa buddhir na vidyate tasya yamit hi sudhi. So this is the seventh offense. So by Nama bala, so we will do the aparad and sinful activities. Then the eighth offense, we think this is like it is the name, chanting of the name is just like a ritualistic ceremony, like it is a ritual. Dharma brata tyaga hutadi sarva subha kriya samyam api pramada. So we think it is just like any religious activities, the chanting of name is like that. So this is the ninth offense. This is the eighth offense. The ninth offense is to give to say the glories of name to a faithless person, to preach about name to a faithless person. Asradhane bimukhe api asravati yes chaupadesas Shiva nama aparadha. So that is why Prabhupada told, so in the beginning, so we should not preach about the holy name to the new devotee who is coming. We should also only do the kirtan, and by hearing that they will gradually purify. And the tenth offense is also very important. Uh, so which I do not follow specifically. So 10th offense is Shrute pi nama mahatme yah priti rahito narab aham amadi pramo namna so api aparadha krit. If one has heard the glories of transcendental holy name of the Lord, but nevertheless continues in a materialistic concept of life, so that is also offense. So we have achieved so much of we have so much of material opulence. At the same time, we are chanting the holy name. We are okay if we have opulence also, that we should detach. Like I was saying, the Prabhupada's mood was to distribute the books and to have the preaching centers, so that he can preach to the world. But when the money came, then he built the temples and he made beautiful temples, because the temples, they are basically so, because when one is opulent, he has to use his opulence or his money in the service of the Lord. But Lord is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Puspam Phalam Toyam Jome Bhaktya Prayachadi Tadaham Bhaktim Apavuttam Asnami Prayatatmana. He is telling, if with love, if someone gives me a leaf, water, fruits and flower, I will accept it. Lord is not telling you give all the opulence, but because Lord has all opulence. In Sada Aishwaryas, the one Aishwarya is he the most rich. So everything he, and also Sarvaloko Maheshwaram. So he is the most opulent. But if we do not engage our opulence, then or our money in the service of the Lord, then we cannot uh, de- develop, we cannot advance in the bhakti, because they are just like two tracks, like railway tracks, the bhakti and the detachment. So they are like two tracks. So they should go parallelly. If we are advancing bhakti, at the same time we should detach from this material opulence. Then only we can go forward. Otherwise, it's not possible. So, next, even people who comes to the intelligent people, they generally they do this chanting in this age of Kali. But those intelligent people doing devotional service, they when they come to the verge of liberation, they are trapped. They fall down by 5 offenses. Jiva Goswami told. What are these 5? So this is crookedness. So externally we are respectful to the devotees, but internally we are thinking something. So that devotee is like that, this devotee is like that. So this is our crookedness. If crookedness will be there, even we are coming to the at the stage of liberation, like towards the Namava stage, at that stage will fall down. Then asradha, faithlessness, lack of conviction. So when everything is going fine, we are doing our devotional service fine. When there is some obstacle come, then our faith goes away. So faithlessness develops. So that is also, by that also we fall down. So you can see, we can see like Ganges flowing. And what is its destination? To go to the sea. And in between, there are rocks are coming, mountains are coming. And when rocks are coming, what the Ganges, it is overflowing. So उसको बोलते हैं हिंदी में उछलता है. Why कब उछलता है आदमी? जब बहुत खुश होता है. So Ganges is becoming so happy when rocks are coming. So similarly, when the obstacles come, we should be very happy that Lord has become merciful. He is giving some obstacle in my path. So then our devotional service become very strong. Like Kunti Maharani, she is saying, so give the obstacles, misfortunes to us, then we can remember you. Even when they are going to meet Lord, they are going to meet Bhishmadev, who are at the last stage in his life, in the arrow bed, he's there. So when he's seeing Krishna and the Pandavas, he's telling, you could have been anyone, like anyone except you could have been destroyed long before This so much of suffering and pains the Kauravas they have given you. But you survived because you were respectful towards the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. You always, stick to the religious principle, and you took the shelter of Achyuta. By these things, you are still survived, and you become the winner. So, when and the Pandavas, we know how much suffering they suffered in their life. So they never forgot Krishna. That is why Krishna offered Narayana Sena and Krishna himself, and he told, I am not participating in the war. Still, Arjuna took Krishna with him. Such a devotion. Similarly, when obstacles comes, we should not give away our devotional service. Hmm. So we should not become faithlessness. I am chanting for a long time. Why this misfortune is coming to me? No, at that time we should be very strong. Then third is the faith in Lord is eroded due to absorption in object. So we are doing devotional service like Bharat Maharaj. He was in Bhava stage. Hmm. After Bhava stage, he was about to get the Prem stage. So in that he observed in a small deer. Then he fell down. So like that, when our faith in Lord is eroded due to absorption in something else, then also we fall down from the liberation stage. Then fourth is devotional service slackened. That is called Saithalya. That is change of priority. So something has come. Okay, today there are so many other things to do. So I will not chant 16 round. I will do 12 round. Okay, 4 rounds I will do tomorrow. No, this is Saithalya. This is slacknessness. So by this we will not progress. So that also we should be careful. Then last is out of five, bhaktyadi krutadi manityam. That is puffed up. I become a devotee. I am preaching very well. I am, taking the class very well. So I can disrespect devotees. So that happened to Daksha Prajapati. Daksha Prajapati, how he misbehaved Lord Shiva, and what happened to his position. That is why he got um, the goat body. Generally, goat what it tells, may, like Prabhu was one Prabhu was came and he told. So who tell may means I always I, and those people, so they become like the goat. So we should be very careful. We should not be puffed up. Even Daksha Prajapati, he was so repented, like this body, I got a goat head. Then he gave up the goat body. Though Prajapati, he is, Shakti, he has from the Lord. So that is why he could not die also. And the next, again, he came as Daksha Prajapati. And, in that life, Narad Muni, how he delivered his thousands of sons. That is in Srimad Bhagavatam. So next sloka will go, this last sloka. Tadasma saram hridayam batedam yad grihamanir hari namadhyaya na vikritaya atha yada vikaro netre jalam gatra ruhesu harsa. Translation: if one's heart does not change, tears do not flow, tears do not flow from his eyes, his body does not shiver, and his bodily hairs do not stand on end, as he chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it should be understood that his heart is as hard as iron. This is due to his offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord's holy name. So we are chanting, but we are not feeling the ecstasy. Then we should understand we have done offense to the Lord's holy name. And in the purport, it is mentioned the Mahabhagavatas. they do not shed tears. Sometimes we see neophyte devotee, they shed tears. The Mahabharata Bhagavatas, why they do not shed tears? Because they are so much of engaged in the service of the Lord, they feel while shedding the tears, it will be a disturbance in the Lord's service. But the neophyte, they shed the tears. So the Kanishta Adhikari, so these tears, though their heart is not really changed, the change must be manifested in terms of one's real activities. So this means whatever the devotee is chanting or preaching, that should be manifested in his activities, in his behavior. So that Prabhupada is saying here. And the Nam is also, there is no difference between Nam and Nami. Nam and Nami both are equal. Even Nam is more powerful. That is why Lord Ram, he could build a bridge to cross the ocean to go to Lanka. But Hanuman, by just chanting the Sri Ram, name of the Lord, he could cross the ocean. Similarly, by putting the stones written on Ram on it, the stones floated and they could build the bridge. So Nam is more powerful than Nami. So in the Bhagavatam also, when Chitraketu, he was so much of lamenting after losing his son, when Angira Rishi and Narad Muni came, and Narad Muni, he gave one mantra. Though he was not, after instruction by Angira Muni, he was lamenting for the loss of his son. Then he could he brought the lost soul to the body of the son. Then the son told, so who is my father, who is my mother, in which birth? So no one is my father and mother. So like if we can say in the rainy season, some straws, some sticks, they come together in the river, but some wave comes, they are separated. So similarly, we become father and mothers, sons and daughters, daughters and relatives. We have come together in this life, but after some time, all will be separated. So this is the truth. So, and only truth is Lord Krishna. So we should do the service to him. Then after the son told about the life, philosophy of the life, then the Chitraketu could realize. Then he stopped his lamentation. Then Narad Muni, after lamentation, so immediately we should be detached. So Chitraketu become detached from his kingdom. His so many wives he had. Immediately Narad Muni gave one mantra and he went. He did tapasya and chanting the mantra. Within 7 days he could see Sankarshan. Within 7 days only. Because Narad Muni, the potency has come from Narad Muni. Within 7 days he could see Sankarshan, Lord Sankarshan. And Lord Sankarshan told in 6.16.51, Sabda Brahma Param Brahma Mama Bhave Saswati Tanu. So this Sabda Brahma, my names is Param Brahma. There is no difference between my form and the name. So name is equal to the Lord, or even greater than Lord. And Adi Puran also says, Nanama Sadrusa Jnanam, Nanama Sadrusa Bratam, Nanama Sadrusa Bratam, Nanama Sadrusa Phalam, Nanama Sadrusa Phalam, Nanama Sadrusa Sam, Nanama Sadrusya Punyam, Nanama Sadrusya Gati. So, like the name, there is no austerity. If someone is chanting, so no austerity is greater than that. And no nam phalam, no the phala or the fruits what we will get from the austerity, that cannot be compared what we get from the nam. And punyam, whatever pious activities we do, That cannot be compared if someone is chanting the holy name. Then last is telling Nameva Paramagati, Nameva Paramagati. So in all gatis, the Paramagati, that is possible by chanting the holy name of the Lord. The that is why Lord Mahaprabhu in Sikhastakam he says Namnamakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Sakti Tatarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadashi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Idarsam Yahajani Nanuraga. So all the potencies Lord has given kept in the name. But still I am not having anurag, the attachment to the chanting of the holy name. So Mahaprabhu's mood. So we could understand. So similarly, the life is very, very temporary. Today is there, tomorrow will be there or not. No one gives guarantee. So I was just 1 month before I was in India. One a rich man in my locality, he lost his wife, and she never went outside, but she got infected with corona and she left this world. And this man become very much lamented, and he gave 5 acres of land to ISKCON for the memory of his wife. So like that, though she was not going outside, never contacted with anyone, she got corona infected. Though her husband was going anywhere, still he is there. So in the life is very much temporary. Any moment we can go away. That is why it is mentioned Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Tala Mala Bhajahu Re Hari Pada Niti Re. Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Tala Mala Bhajahu Re Hari Pada Niti Re. Bhajahu Re Mana Srinanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Vindare. दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सतसंग तरह ए भव सिंधुरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंद नंदन अभय चरणार बिंदरे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सतसंग तरह ए भव सिंधुरे. So this life, Kamal Dala Jala Jivan Talamala, like the lotus leaf, how it is remaining water. It is just like sinking. So our life is also like sinking. At any moment, it can go away. That is why Bhajam Hure Hari Pada Niti. So every time, every day, every time, we should chant the name of Hari. By that, this Dullava Manava Janam Satasanga. So this human life is so rare, and how we can Tarahe Bhava Sindhure, how that we can come across, how we can come across this ocean of nations by only chanting the name of Hari, and how we can chant before chanting, because Nam has aparadhas, so that is why we should chant the name of जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. So when we chant, the offenses generally goes away. That does not mean by chanting again, while chanting also we will do the aparadh. So we should be very cautious. We should not do offenses, and we should take the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Over to Ramanand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. VP Govinda Prabhuji, please take over Prabhuji. VP Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please take over Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Then we pronounce. Give me a moment. I'm just going to.
Dandat Pranam Prabhu.
I'm just going to switch on my camera. It was indeed, Prabhuji, as always, a very detailed class. We discussed the stories, you reminded us the Hare Krishna, and pranams to everyone. Indeed, Prabhuji, like always, the class was great. All the 10 offenses which we read every day, you went into detail, you gave the emphasis, how and why it happens. And those little anecdotes, those little stories, they were so immersed in it. Thank you so much. And I request the devotees to ask any questions. So far, I don't see, and that's what I was looking for in the chat and virtual hand. If anybody would like to ask any question. All right. Meanwhile, Prabhuji, nobody has so far. So I will start. And as you know, Prabhuji, I think a bit logically. It's I'm not in that bhakti bhava yet, so it doesn't come to me easy. As another Prabhuji said, that blessed and lucky are those who could get into that mood. But unfortunately, I'm not, and I won't blame it to maybe the Western influence. I might have spent a lot of time. But again, there are many great devotees in the Western world as well. So at the end, I will have to raise my hand and take the blame for myself rather than on any civilization or influence as such. But Prabhuji, very first question I think could be on it, and it's a very regular question, and that's one of the reasons I requested Prabhuji to maybe put together FAQ, frequently asked questions, because there are some questions which come again and again and again. And this is one of those questions, like in 8.22. So Caitanya Caritamrta Adilila, verse 22 in chapter 8. So it says, and you explained it very nicely as well. So I just thought we will follow that up and a bit of discussion if we do. And I'm hoping more devotees will ask more questions. But to start with, like what it says, immediately somebody will take the name, immediately will overwhelm with ecstasy and tears fill his eyes. So Prabhuji, certainly doesn't happen with me. And now I understand the way you said that the reason is offenses. Of course, let me know if there are more reasons, but then the reason is offenses, because we commit offenses, we don't get there. And the next thing is that we take all these offenses, we remind ourselves again and again every day, at least once, if not twice, but still we commit them. Now we know, and even today's session you mentioned we should do that, and this should is a great word. We say we should do that, and being parents, we say to kids number of times, we should do that, we should not do that. But we all know that how hard it is. And for example, I have sweet tooth, so I love eating sweets. So we know, like I know I should not eat sweet, but still when I see sweet, I would like to eat it. So it's not that we don't know, but how to reach to that, what practical steps we should take so we will able to reach there, where we don't have to, nobody will have to say should, because we know already, but still we can't do it. So if you can put more light on that, Prabhuji, that would be great. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. So this is your, you are telling, but you are a great devotee also. And actually, everything depends on the mercy of the Guru and Nityananda Prabhu. Like we recite, Mukam karoti vachalang panghu langheti girim, yat krupa tamahang bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam. So when Guru we gives the mercy, and always we are Guru Nishtha, mean always thinking of Guru, and we are Guru's mood we are understanding, and in that we get the Shakti also by that. Then these offenses, this ecstasy that will come. Though I am not in that stage, just I am telling. So telling is also not good if I am not practicing. But only I could understand by this. So when one become Guru Nishtha, so then that mercy will come, and Nityananda Prabhu is the Adi Guru. Then he will show the mercy. Then we'll have the ecstasy. So without Guru, we cannot have this ecstatic feeling. And the offenses generally we do, that offenses will go away when we do the Vaishnav Seva. So when we do the Vaishnav Seva, then our ruchi in the name chanting will increase. Then gradually the offenses will go away. And we should also be careful, like crookedness, asradha, then faith, Caitanya, those things we discuss, and we should not be popped up. Those things also we should be careful. Okay, Prabhu. So everything is Guru, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, on that, there's a follow-up question. And as you would expect, I guess, that Raman and Kanai Prabhuji very nicely posed it, that the mercy, and we have discussed in recent classes as well, the mercy of Guru, the mercy of the Lord is like the open tap. It's there all the time. So how to understand when you say that it's when we get the mercy? I think what I understand is that mercy is already there.
Yes, Prabhu, mercy is there, but we should have our efforts. So, yo yathamam prapadyante tangsa tathaiva bhajamiham. So, how we surrender? So, we have surrendered, surrenderness to the Lord, but when the obstacles come, so because Lord will test sometimes. So, whether we are surrendered to the Lord when there is obstacles coming and different situations are coming, how we are adjusting with the devotees. So when these things will come, and when we show our devotion, then we'll feel ecstasy, and we can advance in the spiritual life or in devotion.
Haribo. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So again, the way I understand, and sometimes it's very clear, and we do that in corporate world a lot. We put the flow chart together. So like in project management, we say, okay, we are in step 1, we go to the step 2. And this is really great because anyone could come anytime and say, okay, which step we are on and where are we sticking? If we could do something similar here as well, that would be great. So for example, we just said mercy. Now we are moved to the next level of it, like getting a bit more subtle, where we said that, yes, mercy is there. Yes, mercy is always there, but then it's our efforts. And Mataji has posed a question there in the chat, but Mataji also said the second part, which I guess is for me as the answer for the question I just asked, that more we chant and more we reflect, we become indebted to the holy name and feel tearful in thankful mood. And in that, Prabhuji, what Mataji just said, it that more we chant and more we feel, then what you just said regarding the devotional service. So we understand, so there are two things, mercy and the devotional service. But then we also said, well, the mercy is always there. So the main thing is actually devotional service. And I think it's very clear. And that's what we always try to engage ourselves in. But then again, getting to the next subtler level, now I guess we all will agree that doing devotional service is one thing, but then what kind of, and I'm choosing the word carefully here, that doing the devotional service, performing the devotional service, carrying out the devotional service in different form of shapes could be one thing. But then more than that, important is what consciousness we have. Is that right, Prabhuji? Okay,
Yes,
Prabhuji, you're
Prabhu.
nodding. Yes,
Yes,
Haribol.
yes, Prabhu. Yes,
Great.
yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And I think the similar thing was confirmed regarding consciousness a couple of weeks back when Prabhuji came. Then, well, Prabhuji from South India came. I forgot his name. And so now, Prabhuji, could we talk a bit more about consciousness? That how to purify our consciousness, because that's one of those things. If the consciousness is pure, then we can chant. And again, like what Mataji said, more we chant. Now, I always say, and I was there in Madhya Pradesh, and I did ask that question directly, that when we say more is quantity. How much more? Could we quantify? And I think we could never quantify, because nobody can say that, okay, if you will chant 16 rounds for so many years, that's it, you will get it. No. So it's more on quality. And we have seen those examples in the Shastras, and I'm sure we have seen around us as well. Some of us are there for that long, and some devotees, they just come in and they get so much great progress. And we can understand that it's not quantity, it's the quality. Now, when we talk about quality, Haribol, thank you so much, Mataji. So Mataji replied back, I do not mean more in quantity, but more means time. Okay, Mataji, time and quantity seems the same thing for me, but maybe you're trying to say the similar thing. But now when we come to the quality is when we do it, our focus is there. Our focus is there, focus of the mind, and mind works in consciousness. So Prabhuji, what could we say about consciousness? How we could purify the consciousness? If that seems to be, and that's the reason I'm thinking that, as we said, mercy is there, but we need to do devotional service. But again, as we just agreed, the devotional service we need to do, it's clean, but with what intentions, with what consciousness we do devotional service, that's much more important. Now we can chant for that long, but when we chant, is our mind there? Is our consciousness pure? And the similar thing will come in the offenses as well. So if we are pure consciousness, then we will not get into offenses. So if you could say a bit more about consciousness, Prabhuji, that will really help. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. So consciousness, different people have different consciousness, and some people, if we tell them to chant, also they will not chant. And some people, if we ask them, they will chant and they will do 1-2 rounds. And some people, if we tell, then after some days they will come to the 16 rounds level. So this consciousness is we are carrying from the time immemorial, because as long as we are in this material world, that consciousness is carrying, because mind, intelligence, and ego is carrying the soul. But this we from the Ramayana we may see that Valmiki earlier, what he was doing, he was a plunderer. His consciousness was very low. But and when Narad Muni went to him, and he said, you are doing so much of crimes, so who will be responsible for you for this? Then said, and can anyone share with these sinful activities, the result of sinful activities? He said, okay, yes, my family also, I am doing this for my family, so family should be part of this. Then actually he went to his family, then asked, actually family, they did not agree. Even the Bhagavatam also says, if the king is doing some sinful activities, so that sinful activity, the citizens suffer also. Even the family, if the father who is doing is sinful activities, so and punya he is doing, so punya will be others will get the punya. But if the others will do the sin, that will be reflected on the head of the family. That will come to the head of the family. So similarly, here Valmiki, so he was not able to chant the name of Ram, though Narad Muni gave him. Then he said, okay, you chant Mora. So then he chanted the Mora Mora, then finally it becomes Ram Ram Ram. So because he consciousness level was so low, that is why he was not able to chant. But when he chanted and he followed the Guru's instruction, and he followed the name of the Ram, then his consciousness become gradually pure and pure. So similarly, by chanting the holy name, our whatever conscious low consciousness we have, that will gradually become pure and pure. Like all the anarthas will go away by chanting.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it feels like the way we say chicken and egg situation. So we need to chant offenselessly. For offenselessly, we need to have pure consciousness. How we will get pure consciousness? If we will chant. So we are in a vicious circle, and this will continue. But personally, I don't know what others think, but personally, I'm very interested in this consciousness. The reason being, like it says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, the symptom of the soul is consciousness. So if you think about it, that's the main thing we need to work on. We know the stories, we have heard it a number of times, we know the offenses, we have been chanting for many years. We can chant further, we could keep doing the things we have been doing for many years, but then whether we are able to purify our consciousness, if you don't reach to that level sooner or later, then not sure how far we go. So, but thank you so much, Prabhuji. I won't drag it further. Mataji just informed me that within few minutes we're going to get another session on the same ID, so we will have to wrap up quick. There's one question, Prabhuji. Mataji has asked, Meenakshi Madhvi Mataji, that the second offense is Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, or Lord Brahma, is independent of Lord Vishnu. So her question is especially for Lord Shiva in light of Shivaratri recently. But we have been hearing Shiva is Vishnu, and Mataji says, I'm confused. So we can very briefly clarify that, Prabhuji. That would be great.
No, Lord Shiva is not Vishnu. He is not coming under Vishnu Tattva. He is neither Jiva Tattva nor Vishnu Tattva. He is in between. Lord Brahma is Jiva Tattva. So he is not Vishnu. And Lord Krishna has 64 qualities, Lord Vishnu has 60 qualities, and Lord Shiva has 55 qualities. So, and Lord Brahma has 78 qualities. So Lord Shiva is not equal to Vishnu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Yes, it's very clear. And recently we've been doing Goloka chart as well. If you get in there, I think it's very clear. If you say Vishnu Tattva and Shiv Tattva, and then of course Jiva Tattva. So with that, Prabhuji, thank you so very much. I would like to hand over back to Mataji, and thank you so much, Bir Krishna Prabhuji. It's such a pleasure always. Start from the beginning when you start singing. The way you sing, it's beautiful. It's such a melodious voice, and maybe the way you read, and of course the bhakti bhava you have it. So it's such a pleasure to be in your association. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dhanavad pranams to you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Over to
Thank
you,
you
Mataji.
so much. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Shri Chaitanya Caritamrta ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev jai. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much. So we are ending the meeting here.